Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, November 19th, 2013. I'm astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, check out my new astrology webinar classes. You can sign up now at inclusiveastrology.com. Here we are, Chiron coming direct. This is such a powerful and very unique alignment that we are going through. Chiron already is a weird entity. It is the only thing in space that didn't become a planet like everything else. So that's why Chiron is the wounded healer. But more importantly, I've always looked at it as the feeling of a deformed baby, or maybe getting that really bad poker hand. You know, there is these weird energies that we're all feeling inside. It doesn't matter if you're living in your truth, if you're not, even though you should be, and you should be putting all of your energy and investing into this area. Some people are, some people aren't. But it is about, there still doesn't matter what side you're on, there's this weird feeling inside. There's this feeling of where you could be off, this feeling that maybe you're just not healing correctly, or it's hard to go with the flow. Sometimes it's hard to go with the flow, and the flow is usually directing you towards your truth now. And this, even when you're in that, you know, trust in the flow. Trust that you're going through certain events right now because the universe is readjusting your life correctly. And a lot of this is the message from the universe that there's nothing wrong with you, that you weren't given a bad hand. You chose to be in this life. You chose to be in this life. You chose to be this person. You chose to be this soul going through this experience. And Chiron and Pisces reminds you that there's nothing wrong with you, that you weren't given a bad hand, to trust that you gave yourself this hand at this time for a certain reason. And are you making the right adjustments? The moon squares Mars today. And this is a moon in Gemini, which wants to change things up and understand everything and question it all. And you know, we've had a lot of Gemini energy, which squared a lot of this Chiron and Pisces energy and Neptune in Pisces. You know, it's important for you to not question and to take the actions by readjusting your reality, of surrendering to this message from Spirit, surrendering from what the signs say. This is a huge time for signs now to come back on, as now all the Pisces energy is moving forward again. Now, yes, it's going to take some days here for Chiron to push off this, you know, stationary position, but this is the signal that, and I'm channeling it as there's nothing wrong with you. Open up your feelings. You can't lie to yourself anymore if you're feeling a certain way. You're feeling a certain way for a reason. You got to trust. And you've got to take the actions that your feelings are telling you to do and stop hiding from them. A lot of people are hiding from the actions they know they should take. And that's something that you can't do anymore. That it doesn't matter if you need to, okay, this is some powerful shit right here. It doesn't matter how much you keep adjusting your reality externally, there's going to be some inner world stuff that is going to haunt you if you're not living in your truth, if you're not surrendering to the signs, and if you're not going through the right motions. And there's a reason to go in it, and you've got to listen to this now. You know, you've got to listen to this. You've got to heal yourself by listening to these signs. Or it could become difficult. Chiron can be a royal hell. Believe me, when Chiron squares a planet in your own chart, or when it does some stuff, it could be worse than any other planet. Because it is that deformed baby feeling, or I got the worst hand and I just put all this energy on this, you know? People are in relationships, they put all their energy on and they've got a bad hand. People have invested everything into a job, you know, and they got a bad hand. What are you gonna do though? Are you gonna quit the game? Or are you gonna just lose this match and keep the battle going? You know, Pisces energy is very poor in battle, and we are at a time with Uranus and Aries. And, you know, especially with Mars in a very strong position, this is signaling, especially with Jupiter on top of it, it's time to open up some doors. It's time to stop questioning and being a pussy, pardon my French. But, you know, I think it's okay to be a sensitive person with a lot of compassion and somebody who's going through quite a weak spot. But you need to use your actions towards readjusting your reality to what God's telling you to really do. And stop bullshitting yourself. Stop, you know, feeling like, oh, well, if I just keep, there's people who think they're mastering by manipulating the reality by staying in this situation or making it, pushing, it's like keeping a person in a coma and, just keeping it prolonged, or borrowing trillions of dollars from another country, even though we know we're broke. Like, we're going to have to face this eventually. And it doesn't matter how much you can do it on externally. There is this deeper, crazy, hard to deal with spiritual truth that you're going to have to face, and you cannot deny it anymore. There's nothing wrong. Why don't you just go for what's right? So this goes for both sides of the fence, because we're dealing with a lot of mutable energy today, and mutable energy to me is both sides. All the mutable signs always have both sides, two sides. All the signs in the mutable signs have two sides. So I think that it's important for us to really see both sides of our life, and to make sure that we are realizing there's nothing wrong with us at the very core at the beginning, that we chose this story, we chose this time, we chose this period for a reason, and that you're not off, and there's nothing wrong with you. And for you to just realize that by how you readjust your reality. That there's nothing wrong with you, that God's put you in a great position at a great time in your life, and it's time to go open the right doors. Stop questioning. You know what you've got to do. With a day like today, I'd pay attention. If you have heavy health problems right now, what is that signaling? That's an emotional problem somewhere. Depending on where it's at in your body, read that and look that up. What aren't you listening to? What aren't you seeing? What aren't you really doing correctly? And there's nothing wrong with trusting in what your gut knows it should do. That's the lesson today. There's nothing wrong with that, even if it's crazy and weird. And you know what? The Gemini energy will like it, is if you tell your mind, this is what we feel is going on. This is what God is telling us to do. So figure out a way to do it. Okay, keep your Gemini mind busy, but don't let it be the ruler of the show. So don't let your mind rule the show today, especially as Mercury is in a very intense spot. It's been in Scorpio forever. We're trying to get to the bottom of everything. We just came out of the eclipse period. So yes, I told you yesterday that we're coming out of quite a lot. We're feeling better. We're getting traction. But now that you're in the traction, don't get caught up in something's wrong. Or, oh my God, don't get caught up in, am I sure I should be doing this? No. You are following your gut. You're trusting. Trust in spirit. Trust in the universe. Trust in your gut. Trust in your story. Nobody forced you to get in this body. Nobody is telling you that there's something wrong with you. Nobody is forcing for you to do anything in your life. You have the power. No relationship is forcing you to do crap either. Make the right goals. Let your old emotions out. Change the way the rules have worked in your life. Reinvent yourself and go hit a home run today. And realize there's nothing wrong with you. It's okay if you're sensitive, but it's not okay if you're not doing anything about readjusting your reality with this sensitivity. I'm a big believer in destiny. I'm a big believer in that we use our free will to align with that destiny. That's what it was made for. Or the option to go way off track. You could go there. You have the option to jump off cliffs. You have the option to just do whatever crazy crap you want to do. But imagine if you aligned it in your truth, you aligned it in a destiny, and you aligned it with understanding who you are. You have the power to make everything you want happen in this life. And there is a reason why the signs are telling you to go do certain things. And don't feel bad if you do it. Don't feel bad if you have to break certain things off. This could be a time where we've invested in things that just didn't work and we got a bad hand. But don't let that bad hand ruin your life anymore. Take that bad hand and move it to a better one. And you can still win the whole pot. And I want to remind you that today, that you have the ability to open up the doors of your emotions more than ever and take action if you're feeling right. Take the actions that feel right. And remember, we're dealing with Scorpio, the ones that feel right inside, not the ones that feel right and get locked up in questions because mom thinks this might be bad, or because the neighbors might think this is bad, or because my friend might think this is bad. No, do it for what you want. Do it for what you're healing inside. Follow the orders that God has given you. Those are the orders to pay attention to. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one reading. Thank you for all of your support, and I will see you tomorrow.